You ever notice it's always the loudest guys who want to prove they're in charge even when they've got nothing to back it up, especially in parking lots, especially when the sun's beating down on fake Oakleys and lease-to-own muscle cars. That's where this story starts. Not with a shootout, not with a car chase, just a quiet man buying a socket wrench, and two idiots who didn't realize they were poking a sleeping lion, disguised as a tired mechanic in a zip-up hoodie. Jason Statham was in East Hollywood, standing outside Alvarez Auto Supply, holding a receipt for $38.72 and a small brown paper bag. Inside the bag, a torque multiplier, two gaskets, and a pack of wintergreen gum. Outside, a heat wave so dry it made concrete crackle under boots. He'd driven in from Glendale. Left his rebuilt Plymouth Barracuda idling across the lot with the windows cracked just enough to keep the upholstery from melting. Nothing fancy, no showboating, just grab the parts and go. But the universe doesn't always respect your schedule. Across the lot, a black Dodge Charger with mismatched paint rolled in slow, tinted windows, unmarked but not subtle. Guy in the passenger seat wore a khaki vest too tight over a white t-shirt, with a holster that didn't quite fit the belt. The driver had a toothpick, a buzz cut, and a face like someone trying way too hard to look like a cop in a music video. They parked diagonal, blocking Jason's path, then stepped out like they owned the sidewalk. Jason didn't move, just adjusted the bag in his hand and kept walking. That's when the first guy spoke. "Sir, need a word." Jason turned slightly, raised an eyebrow. The guy flashed a badge, the kind you order online for $19.95 and glue into a plastic wallet. "LAPD, the man said. "We're gonna need to search your vehicle." Jason stared, said nothing. Other guys stepped closer. "Problem, sir," Jason finally spoke. "What's the charge?" "Suspicious activity." Jason tilted his head. "You got a name, Officer Suspicious?" The guy grinned. "Don't need one." Jason squinted at the fake badge, didn't say a word, just committed the number to memory. Here's the thing about Jason. He doesn't act fast unless it's necessary. That's what makes him terrifying. Because while other people react, he's calculating exits, surveillance angles, which guy's dominant hand, and how far the Charger is from the fire lane. All in under 5 seconds. So when one of the fake cops reached toward Jason's chest, trying to push him back, Jason let it happen, just once, just enough to feel the weight of the guy's arm. The cheap body spray, the way his belt didn't match his holster model. And then Jason said flatly, "You boys sure you want to keep playing pretend?" The second guy laughed. Tough guy. Jason looked past him, to the Charger, to the license plate, missing the front one, then to the visor where a red and blue light bar had been zip-tied in. Then back to the man. "You're not cops," he said. "Quick question, where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments. And hey, if this story made you whisper, this is about to get serious, hit that subscribe button. Watch till the end, because what happens next will make you think twice about flashing a fake badge in the wrong parking lot." The two fakes stiffened, not because he said it, but because of how he said it. No anger, no bluff, just quiet certainty. Buzz Cut took a step forward. "Sir, you're interfering with an ongoing investigation." Jason held up the bag. "Yeah, what are you investigating? Socket wrench abuse." Vest guy moved in faster this time, hand brushing his waistline. But Jason pivoted, not away, in, close, inside the reach zone. One hand grabbed the man's wrist, twisted it just enough to show dominance without damage. The other hand, still holding the bag, Jason leaned in, voice like gravel and gravel. "Walk away." The fake officer tried to yank free. Jason didn't tighten, didn't escalate. Just whispered, "Your gun's fake, your vest's nylon, and that badge has a typo in the seal." He released him. Let the guy stumble back. Buzz Cut reached behind his back, then stopped. Jason was already facing him, calm, rooted, unimpressed. That's when the sirens chirped, real ones, a block away. Jason said, "You've got 10 seconds to vanish before someone with an actual badge gets curious." They bolted. jumped back into the Charger and peeled out without signaling. Jason watched the whole time, didn't chase, didn't film, didn't smile, just memorized the backplate, Car 5XKZ 309, and turned to walk back to his car. Later that night, Jason sat in his garage in Glendale, car parts scattered on a drop cloth, a beer half-warm beside a socket set. He replayed the moment, not the part where they got in his face. The part where they touched him. Jason doesn't mind disrespect, but contact, that's different, because it tells him something, not about them, about what kind of operation feels safe enough to impersonate cops in broad daylight. And that meant someone upstairs wasn't watching close enough. He flipped open a small metal case. Inside, burner phone, gloves, a folded list labeled LAPD reporting gaps. He made 2 calls, one to an old contact, the other to a woman named Shay who knew how to pull traffic cam footage without triggering alerts. Then he opened his laptop, pulled up a blank profile, started typing, target, fake unit, East Hollywood sector description, 2M late 20s to early 30s, poor discipline, believable posture, low-level extortion targeting undocumented residents and independent garages, likely backed by a larger ring. Status, tracking begins now. At 11:42 p.m., Jason closed the laptop, grabbed a small black pouch, and began prepping his toolkit, not the one with wrenches, the one with picks, fiber optic camera, and gloves with grip that didn't squeak, because those two didn't just try to shake him down, they exposed themselves. And Jason, he never lets bad mechanics walk away without showing them how real tools work. Some people dig graves, Jason Statham. He digs networks. And on this particular Thursday morning, he was 2 hours deep into an old habit, pulling threads until someone's secret unraveled in his lap like cheap wiring. The Charger that peeled off the lot the day before had a forged front plate, but the back one, Car 5XKZ 309. Jason had already run it 3 different ways. Public databases came back invalid. Private ones, the kind he knew how to nudge, tagged it with a DMV error code. Shell ID active, not registered to live vehicle. Translation, ghost plate. Planted inside the system, not for a real car, but for one built to look real enough. Someone had resources, but not skill. And that's where Jason always found his in. He spent the morning in an old cafe in Culver City, where the coffee tasted like rust and the internet didn't ask questions. He used a fake email to pull a repair invoice from a body shop in Montebello, one with a 6-month-old note attached to the exact Dodge Charger model, tinted, no VIN, paid in cash, and the name on the receipt, Frank Battista. It didn't matter if it was real. It gave Jason a scent. By noon, he was back on the road, windows cracked, radio off, gloves tucked under the seat, toolkit behind him. The address led to a chop shop disguised as a muffler warehouse. Jason parked 2 blocks away, walked in slow, wore a beanie, loose jacket, and a posture that said, "I'm not here for trouble unless trouble wants to say hi first." Inside, oil stains, stripped Camrys, and a crew that looked more Twitch streamer than felon until you saw the sidearms on their belts. Jason moved like he belonged, scanned quietly, and locked eyes with a man in a grease-streaked hoodie and fake Oakleys. The same fake Oakleys from the parking lot, vest guy. He didn't recognize Jason at first. Not until Jason stepped just close enough and said flat, "You left your badge behind." Vest guy blinked once. Then the blood drained from his face. He didn't run, didn't swing, just tried to play it cool. "What are you talking about, man?" Jason leaned on the counter. "You flashed a badge, tried to push me into a search, and then panicked when a real siren sounded." Fake Oakley smiled nervously. "You got me confused." Jason reached into his pocket, pulled out a small laminated card, tossed it, it skidded across the counter and stopped dead. It wasn't a badge, it was a photo cropped from the security cam footage. Clear as day, Jason, vest guy, and buzz cut in one frame. Caught mid-fake arrest. Quick question, where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments. And hey, if this story made you whisper, he tracked him in broad daylight with receipts and screenshots. Hit that subscribe button. Watch till the end because this isn't about revenge. It's about fixing what breaks one bolt at a time. The guy behind the counter stammered. Jason smiled, not wide, not warm, the kind of smile that says you might want to rethink your career path. I'm not a cop, Jason said. I'm not IA, and I'm definitely not someone you want to see twice. Fake Oakleys swallowed hard. What do you want? Jason pointed over his shoulder. That black Charger, it's part of a pattern. You're not just flashing fake badges, you're running a full intimidation circuit. The man blinked. Jason continued. You're hitting people who won't report it. Immigrants, gig drivers, cash workers. You pull them aside, claim some fake violation, seize their wallets, maybe even their cars. Still silence. Jason stepped closer. This ends now. Vest guy looked around. One mechanic stopped pretending to wrench a catalytic converter and stepped back. Another guy lowered a drill. Jason never moved his eyes. You gonna say something? Finally, fake Oakleys whispered. You don't know what you're messing with. Jason grinned. Don't I? Back at home that night, Jason loaded up a USB drive, footage, screenshots. Audio snippets from a hidden mic he planted on the guy's desk when he leaned in earlier, the voice saying, yeah, we use the fake badges to rough him up. Nobody calls it in. He didn't go to the police, not directly. He mailed it to Sergeant Lena Ruiz, someone from his old life. No note. No return address. Just enough evidence to light a fire under Lapt's internal affairs and make this ring impossible to ignore. Then he started prepping for the rest, because Jason never just sends evidence. He sends warnings, and he sends them loud. That weekend, the fake Charger was parked outside a diner in Silver Lake. Buzz Cut was inside, eating steak and eggs with one hand and scrolling crypto tips with the other. Jason walked by it once, twice, then popped the trunk, took 5 seconds, then walked away. Nothing stolen. Nothing broken. But when Buzz Cut got in 20 minutes later and turned the ignition, every light on the dash went haywire. A preset loop on the internal sound system kicked in. Impersonating a police officer is a felony. You're being watched. The engine revved once, then shut itself off. Hardwired kill switch, reset required. Buzz Cut's phone vibrated a second later, unknown number, text message. Next time I take the brakes, walk away. At 3:00 a.m., Buzz Cut showed up at the muffler shop. He was furious, shouting. Fake Oakleys tried to calm him down. But Buzz was done. We're being followed. This guy's not normal. No one's seen him since. You don't find guys like that. They find you. The mechanic near the back spoke up. He's the guy from the VA list, the one with the Merc contract. Buzz paused. What? Jason Statham. They call him the mechanic. Buzz laughed nervously. That's not real. Another guy muttered. Tell that to the guy in Long Beach who's still walking with a limp. Buzz sat down hard, and for the first time since they started playing fake cop, he looked scared. 2 days later, the muffler shop was shut down. City citation. Fire code. IRS tag. 3 guys arrested, 2 charged. 1 disappeared before they could ID him. Jason, he watched it all from a rooftop half a block away, didn't smile, didn't gloat, just finished his sandwich. Then headed back down the fire escape like he'd just been to the gym. Because Jason's not a vigilante. He doesn't need headlines. He just knows a simple truth. The world breaks when people pretend to be powerful, but it heals when someone real reminds them what power really feels like. The fire didn't spread up the ladder. It was the ladder. That's what Jason realized the moment he cross-referenced arrest reports from the last 6 months, all linked to the same vague security outfit, Patriot Shield Protective Services. Nice logo, cool website, fake credentials. Buried inside the contracts, unregulated neighborhood patrols, private donations from concerned citizens. And most interesting, a listed headquarters inside a 3-story brick building in Westwood that claimed to be a union office. Except the union didn't appear on any government labor registry. Jason read the file twice, then whispered, "There it is." Westwood was too clean, too organized. You don't run street scams from buildings with fiber internet and valet parking. But that's what made it perfect. From the outside, Patriot Shield looked legit: reception desk, waiting room, magazines nobody read, and behind all that, a private suite registered to one Leon R. Caldwell, ex-military according to the website, decorated, mentions of strategic enforcement leadership. Jason dug deeper. No deployment history, no honors, no photos, not even an old boot camp roster. The man didn't exist on any DoD or contractor database, which meant one thing: Leon Caldwell was fake. And whoever was using his name, they were laundering power with the same precision Jason used to dismantle an ignition coil. Jason spent the morning parked across from the building, watching, counting. 5 cars in the lot belonged to employees. 3 were registered to shell companies. One didn't appear in any system at all: a black Cadillac Escalade with a deeply tinted windshield. At 9:17 a.m., a man stepped out, slick haircut, tailored blazer, smile too wide for the suit. Not Leon Caldwell, but someone pretending to be someone who owned the world. Jason took a photo from across the street, then quietly tailed him down Wilshire for the next hour. The man met with 2 others at a steakhouse that didn't open until noon. They went in early. Jason sat on the hood of his car with a half-empty coffee cup and waited, watched. And when the man emerged, 3 things clicked: the watch, real; the conversation, financial; the briefcase, light, a payout, midweek, probably hush money. Jason wasn't guessing, he knew the rhythm. This wasn't a gang. It was a business built on fear and shadows. And if you wanted to kill a business, you don't go after the product, you go after the books. Quick question: where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments. And hey, if this story made you whisper, he's building a case in silence, brick by brick, hit that subscribe button. Watch till the end, because this story doesn't end with arrests. It ends with reputations getting rewired. That night, Jason broke into the Patriot Shield office, didn't force a lock, didn't leave a scratch. Just bypassed the panel using a code he watched the receptionist type earlier. 1 to 9 to 9 to 3. Inside, the air was too cold. The furniture was too new, but the walls, they told stories. Jason used a fiber optic camera to check the ceiling tiles, found a backup hard drive, tucked into insulation. Still warm from the server it backed up from. He pulled it, cloned it, replaced it. No alarms, no lights, in and out in 11 minutes. Back in his garage, Jason cracked the files open: invoices, account transfers, photos of cash pickups. Even internal memos from the fake union boss, including phrases like, "Keep pressure on Koreatown. They won't file complaints. Officer Z wants another cut. Handle it quietly." Jason didn't sleep, didn't eat. He just uploaded everything to a drive labeled Patriot Shield Burn. Zip then sent a single message to Detective Tasha Hall, a friend from way back. "I never ask for favors. This is the last one I'll ever need. Read everything." 3 days later, a task force was approved. 2 weeks later, the Westwood office was raided. 4 arrests, dozens of charges. And Leon Caldwell turned out to be a B-list actor hired to pose for the website, paid in Bitcoin, currently hiding in Canada. Jason didn't watch the news, didn't wait for his name to pop up. He was already under a car in his garage by the time the SWAT van pulled into the fake Union building, didn't even blink, but something still itched in the back of his head, because Buzz was missing. Vest guy was in holding. The owner of the muffler shop was talking, but Buzz had vanished. That night, Jason checked the burner phone. A message waited unnumbered: "You're good, but you missed one." Jason stared at it, then typed back, "I never miss twice." Buzz had been quiet, too quiet. Jason knew that type. The kind who didn't blink when their crew got cuffed. The kind who didn't show up in arraignments. the kind who didn't fight back because they weren't gone, they were hired out. The text message from the burner still buzzed in Jason's pocket like a challenge. "You're good." "But you missed one." He didn't reply, didn't need to, because he already had Buzz on his mind and in his sights. 2 nights earlier, a contact in Long Beach mentioned a new enforcer working private security on a cash-only club circuit. No name, but the description, built like a fridge. Always wore shades indoors. Flashlight holster, empty. Jason didn't need more than that. He just needed a few hours and a fresh oil change. By midnight, he was staked out across from a low-lit venue in East LA called Club Scythe. The kind of place where IDs didn't matter, music was too loud, and cameras, mysteriously, never worked. Jason watched the back exit, didn't blink. And when Buzz finally stepped out at 1:43 a.m., shoulders hunched and jacket zipped too high, Jason followed, slow, measured. Not to scare him. To hurt him. Buzz didn't even know he was being moved, until he looked up and realized the alley behind him was now a tunnel of silence. Jason stood at the far end. Gloves on, posture calm, voice even. "You've got one move left. Choose right." Buzz didn't speak. He reached back instead fast. Jason closed the gap faster, grabbed the wrist, twisted it up and away, dropped the guy with a knee to the inner thigh and a snap to the shoulder joint that Buzz would remember forever. Buzz hit pavement. Hard. Jason stood over him. "You were good at pretending." Buzz grunted. "You think this ends here?" Jason stepped closer. "No, it ends with you. Quick question, where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments. And hey, if this story made you whisper, Jason didn't just win, he outplayed the whole board. Hit that subscribe button. Because what happens next proves. Quiet power doesn't make noise, it finishes the job. Jason searched him. No gun. No badge. Just a phone with 3 recent calls, one number marked client. Jason took a photo of it. Buzz hissed. "You're dead." Jason stared, then crouched low. "You threatened the wrong people. You posed as law. You ran scams on the helpless. You're not a soldier." Buzz spat. "Neither are you." Jason whispered, "Exactly." Then he opened Buzz's phone and dialed the client number. The voice on the other end answered fast. "It done." Jason said nothing, just held the phone close and let the voice keep talking. "Good. Drop locations in West Covina. Cash in duffel. You'll get the rest after the body's confirmed." Jason finally spoke. Wrong number. Silence. Then, click. Call ended. Jason left Buzz zip-tied to a dumpster behind the club. By the time staff came out, they found him half frozen and begging to be arrested. Jason was already gone. The next day, Jason drove to West Covina, parked 3 blocks away, walked in on foot, the drop location, an old storage unit, no cameras, cheap locks. He picked the latch open in under 6 seconds. Inside, 1 duffel bag, $20,000 in stacked cash, unmarked. No tracking devices, Jason checked twice. No DNA trace, professional. But not clever enough. Jason left the money, planted a message instead. One written in oil-stained block letters on a white rag. "Keep paying for ghosts, they always haunt you." Back home, Jason sat on the roof with a thermos and a telescope, watching the skyline shift under a golden Los Angeles dusk. Below him, people shouting, dogs barking, radios playing too loud. But up here, quiet, the kind of quiet he'd earned. And in that quiet, his phone buzzed again. "Block number," he answered. Voice came through, strained, shaken. "You don't know who you're messing with." Jason sipped coffee, then said, "I didn't mess with anyone. You tried to buy me, then kill me. Now you're just buying time." The line went dead. The next day, Detective Hall called. No names exchanged, just facts. "We picked up your alley friend. He's screaming for immunity." Jason said nothing. She added, "You really want to play this long game?" Jason replied, "I already did." Then hung up. Weeks passed. No new sightings. No new scams. Patriot Shield was dismantled. Buzz got rolled up in a RICO case. Jason fixed 3 transmissions, taught his neighbor's kid how to hold a wrench, and replaced the timing chain in his Barracuda without breaking a sweat. Then one night, a package showed up at his garage. No note, just a box. Inside, a single part, a wrench, brand new, high torque, engraved with just two words, "Still watching." Jason held it in his hand, balanced the weight, smiled, because a warning from the shadows was still just a tool, and tools. He knew exactly how to use them. Some men fight to be feared. Jason Statham. He just fixes the damage and lets the silence speak.